This is Beyond Waking Realm, and today I want to talk about a man who didn't believe he deserved redemption, but kept chasing it away. Booker DeWitt isn't a hero. He isn't a savior. He isn't even someone who believes he can be forgiven. He's a man who learned how to survive his guilt without ever confronting it. In BioShock Infinite, Booker is framed as the player's anchor, the one we follow, the one we control, the one who moves the story forward. But beneath the mechanics and momentum lies something far more unsettling. Booker DeWitt is a man who keeps choosing motion over meaning. This isn't a recap of BioShock Infinite. This is a reflection on guilt, avoidance, and what happens when choice exists but responsibility is delayed. Because Booker didn't lose himself in Colombia, he arrived already lost. Booker DeWitt's story begins with something deceptively simple: a debt. Not just financial, but moral. Booker carries the weight of violence long before the events of BioShock Infinite. He has blood on his hands, not symbolic blood, not abstract blood, real blood. And unlike Comstock, Booker doesn't justify it with prophecy or destiny. He internalizes it. That distinction matters. Booker knows he did wrong. He just doesn't know how to live with it. So instead of confronting his guilt, he learns how to outpace it. Drink, fight, move, take the next job. As long as there's motion, there's no space for reflection. Booker isn't absolving himself. He's avoiding stillness. Where Comstock clings to certainty, Booker clings to momentum. He believes, consciously or not, that if he keeps moving forward, the past will lose its grip. This is Booker's unspoken philosophy. If I don't stop, I won't have to feel it. This is why Booker feels so human. He doesn't deny his sins. He just postpones reckoning. And Colombia, for all its horror, offers him something familiar. A job, a goal, a task. Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt. It's the perfect sentence for a man like Booker, because it turns accountability into a transaction. And Booker desperately wants to believe guilt can be paid off. Booker and Comstock are not opposites. They are divergent responses to the same wound. Comstock responds to guilt by escaping into certainty. Booker responds to guilt by escaping into action. Comstock surrenders choice to destiny. Booker delays choice through distraction. Both are avoidance strategies. Both refuse to sit with responsibility. The difference is that Booker never pretends his path is righteous. He doesn't call himself chosen. He doesn't build a narrative that sanctifies his actions. He just keeps going. And that makes him dangerous in a quieter way. Not to others, but to himself. Elizabeth is not Booker's mission. She is his interruption. She forces him to slow down, to listen, to care, and most importantly, to see the consequences of his choices reflected back to him. Elizabeth isn't valuable because of her power. She's valuable because she introduces meaning into Booker's momentum. For the first time, Booker can't just move forward without considering who he's dragging along. And this is where Booker's arc truly begins. Not when he enters Columbia, but when he begins to care whether someone else survives it. BioShock Infinite introduces a terrifying idea through Booker. That choice doesn't erase consequence, it multiplies it. Every version of Booker believes he can outrun his past. Every version makes a different choice, and yet the guilt persists. Not because Booker chooses wrong every time, but because he keeps believing there's a version of himself that doesn't have to choose at all. Multiplicity doesn't save Booker, it exposes him. There is no universe where he escapes responsibility, only ones where he delays it. Booker DeWitt isn't fighting fate. He's fighting himself. He wants forgiveness without confession, redemption without stillness, absolution without acknowledgement. And BioShock Infinite refuses giving that. Because some debts aren't erased by motion, they're confronted only when movement stops. Booker DeWitt matters because he represents a kind of guilt many people recognize. Not the guilt of believing you're right, but the guilt of knowing you're wrong and not knowing how to live afterward. He isn't monstrous, he's human, and that's why his story hurts. Because it asks a question we rather avoid. What happens if we stop running? If this reflection resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, especially how you interpret Booker DeWitt, guilt, and choice in BioShock Infinite. And if you're enjoying these narrative dives, consider sticking around. Here we explore stories not just as games, but as mirrors. Thank you for spending this time with me.